I'm Luke.
And I'm a dad.
You're watching DSG, and today we're looking at X-Wing Miniatures game. Roll the opening!
Wait, hold up first.
But first we have some things to let you know about. First, we have gotten somewhat official and have our own Facebook page and website. So if you would like to check out all our stuff and the occasional between episode pics, check out those things.
Yeah, check out those things. We can be found at www.dadsonandgame.com, which will be like probably right here with the After Effects. And then we also have a Facebook page, which is facebook.com/dadsonandgame. We also have an email address, so if you'd like to contact us through that email, for whatever reason, say hi, whatever, we like hearing from you guys, go ahead and email us at dsg.fellas@gmail.com, and that should appear about here. Is it here there? Is that where it's at? Right here?
Probably.
Okay, yeah. We'll put that in later. Anyway, now that beginning. Okay, let's take an overlook at the game, how it works here. First of all, the miniatures are what everyone thinks are cool. You look at those guys, they come right in the box. You get 2 TIE Fighters and 1 X-Wing right in the box. They come painted, they look really cool, and they come with these plastic bases that have different cardboard placards that sit in there. And that's the first thing that everyone notices. They even put a little clear frame in the box so you can see the miniatures when you're shopping. So my thought, and what kind of made me hesitant to want to get this game, was, hey, 3 models, how much fun can that be? How many times can you play that? But there's another part to the game too, which are these cards that come with the game as well. So you get not only the game, but you get some cards that do different things. And these are your pilot cards. So this pilot would match up with a TIE Fighter, as well as this one. And this one would match up with an X-Wing. And we'll take a closer look at one of these cards here. Basically, there are several things on this card. The first one's the pilot initiative number on the top here, and that's going to be important because the higher the initiative number, the first to attack, but also the last to move. So if you have a low initiative number, you would move first in the movement phase, but then you would attack last. So that's kind of a pilot skill or initiative number. The second one, this red number here, this is a blaster number to indicate how many die of what color you would roll when you attack under normal circumstances. The next number is this green number here, and that is your defense rating. So you're able to basically avoid hits or not be hit, essentially, based on the number of green die you roll. So the way how this works is TIE Fighters shoot with 2 die, and they defend with 3, and X-Wings shoot with 3 die, and TIE Fighters defend with 3. So the thematic idea there is that the TIE Fighters have weaker weapons, but they're also more nimble too, which we'll get to in movement. But then also the ability to avoid shots on the TIE Fighter is much better than on the X-Wing. And then the last 2 things to look at here are the 3 is the amount of hit points you have, or the amount of shielding on the aircraft, and then the last one is the shields rating. All the TIE Fighters don't have any shields, all the X-Wings have 2 shields, which gives you essentially 2 extra hit points, which is only fair because you outnumber the X-Wing 2 to 1 when you're playing the TIE Fighters. Now the next thing that we can look at here are these cool little dials that come with the game. This is real similar to what I've seen in some other Final Fantasy games, such as like Infiltration. And there's one other one right now that's kind of escaping my mind right now that comes with a similar dial like that. But the dial is used, you basically have a number of different movement options on there, and you are going to set a movement based on what you want to do. So I'm going to do that secretively here, and then I put that face down on top of my card. And I do the same thing for my other TIE Fighter, and then I do the same thing for the X-Wing if I was playing the X-Wing. So your opponent puts his face down as well. And then we simultaneously reveal them. And then, like I said earlier, the person with the lower initiative number would basically be the one who gets to move first. So for the example of this, I'm just going to say this TIE Fighter here had the lower initiative number. and he was doing a sharp turn of 2. Well, you get these little movement templates that come with it as well. And these just kind of like, they don't snap, but they set in there nicely, and then you move it wherever the template says you should move. And so this guy, let's say he moved 1 sharply. There's all kinds of different sharp and not so sharp turns. And our X-Wing, we'll just say he moved 3 this way. And I'm going to take that back. He went like this, so I can show you something else here. Then the next thing we're going to do is take an action. And you basically can either, if your actions are available on your little placard here and on your cards, it'll tell you what your aircraft can do. But the 2 main types of actions are avoid and focus. And an avoid is like an automatic miss. So if you roll a hit, it's an automatic miss. If you take that, so if you're in a defensive stance, you know you're not going to be firing, you want to take that. So I'm going to take that with this guy here. And that's something that only the X-Wings can do. And then the focus is, you basically get to turn one of your eyeball cards into what you want it to turn into when you roll the die. So essentially, it's giving you a wild card on your die. Now, how do you know where you can shoot or who you can shoot? Well, if you look real carefully down here, I don't know if you can see it very well, there's a little red like radius there that you're going to line this up with and see, oh, is he inside there? Yep, he sure is. And then I'm going to measure the 2, this is something that was a little tricky for me to find out, but the 2 closest points of the models. And this looks like we're just within a range of 1, which means that basically within a range of 1, you're going to get attacking bonuses, or actually defensive handicaps against the attack. So the attacker here is going to get a really good position on this TIE fighter, probably blast him pretty good. And the way how the actual attacking works now is we take these die and we roll the number of die that we're supposed to do. The green die indicate defense, the red die are attacking. And the options you have are an eyeball and a hit and basically a critical hit for the red die. And there's also a blank side, which is kind of a bummer to get because you don't get anything from that. But like I said, when you take the focus, you can turn that eyeball into a hit on attacking. And then on the defense, you have eyeballs and swerves, and then blank sides as well. So I would have swerved that, and if I took focus, I can turn one of these into a swerve. But if I did take focus for an action, this little focus type icon here, I can only use that 1 time. So that only allows me to use that once. So I can only turn that 1 eyeball I turned into a swerve. Then once I do get a hit, I take these little hit markers out and put hits on whoever got hits. And those are regular hits right there, which are these filled in type. These open type hits are critical hits. And when I'm canceling out hits, if this was my roll, let's say I did roll and I got 2 hits and a critical, and I got 2 swerves and a blank. Well, the first ones to cancel out are the less evil filled in hits, and then this open hit, this critical hit, would be not resolved, so I'd have to give myself a critical hit. Now the difference here on a critical hit and a non-critical hit is a non-critical hit, what you're going to do is you're going to just put a card there. That's 1 hit point. Well, on a critical hit, you're going to flip the card over and read what it says. This one says direct hit, I get 2 damage instead of 1. So I would give myself another damage. So I took 2 damage on that one. So that's the game in a nutshell. There's also a great tutorial right on the website on Fantasy Flight Games. They have a good tutorial on how to play this game. But that's it in a brief rundown version of it. Each pilot has different abilities, different things they can do. So it does keep the game a little more fresh than just having 3 models that you get to put different pilots in the game. And also to keep it fresh, you have these obstacles you can put out at different times. And in the rulebook, there's some mission scenarios. So you can play with this non-playable character type shuttle that has its own kind of thing it's doing. So overall, there's more replay value there than it might look like from the outside looking in, with all these different pilot cards and different things that come with the game. There's a lot more to it with the movement. There's things like being under stress, so you can't do certain actions when you do a real aggressive move, and how you can resolve being under stress, and different character abilities that let them resolve extra die or roll extra die or things like that. But that's your game in a basic nutshell. So now let's get back to what we think about it.
As always, we will look into the game in 2 parts. First, I will tell you what I think as a kid, and next my dad will tell you what he thinks.
So, Luke, we review these games based on 4 factors. We look at the art and theme, the fun factor, and the family friendliness, and then we'll give an overall rating. And this is going to be a little personal, but a little bit what we think it'll work for families. And Luke's rating scale and my rating scale are, I think, in the process of changing a little. Luke has realized he's given everything pretty high ratings, even though he didn't really like it. Like, he didn't like Gear World, the Borderlands that much, and he gave it like a 7.5. So he wants to change his scale. So what's your scale going to be like now? A 5 is average?
Yeah.
5's like meh.
0 is like...
Don't ever make me play that garbage again.
Right.
And a 10 is like, you can wake me up at midnight and I'll play this game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, with that said, 7's pretty good, 8's really good, 9's pretty amazing, and 10's just like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's hear what you had to say about this. What do you think about the art and theme?
Art and theme, I'll have to give it a 9 because the miniatures are just really well done, and you guys may not be as big as a Star Wars person as I am, but I'm pretty big in Star Wars, but I mean...
His name's Luke.
Yeah, kind of ironic, but...
Luke, I'm your father. Cheesy joke, huh?
Yep.
Anyway. So art and theme, you're giving it a 9. What about the fun factor?
Fun factor, I'll have to give it probably a 7. Because it's just a lot of fun, and yeah.
And on the new scale, a 7's really good. Like,
right.
It means it's a really good game for fun. It's just not totally amazing, not totally super amazing, and not wake you up at midnight fun. So, like, your favorite game is Telestrations. Telestrations is a 10. If I ever got around going, you'd want us to get going on it? Cool. At midnight even?
Yeah.
Okay, family rating. What do you think about family on this?
Probably maybe an 8. But depends on how many people want to play it, though, because it's only a 2-player game.
That's a good point. So if there's only 2 gamers in a family, you give it an 8.
Right.
But if it wants to be like 6 people, then forget it.
Yeah.
So what makes it so high? Like, what are the good parts about it being family friendly?
Well, I guess it can destroy bonds a little, because it can get frustrating at points.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's kind of a good way to see each other's strategies and...
Yeah. Luke and I played this game probably 5 or 6 times, and we played it with four TIE Fighters and 2 X-Wings once or twice, and he got so frustrated one time that he had to run from the table and just like kind of chill out for a minute because his dice were just not working very well for him.
Seriously, like, every time I attacked, it was like off focus or something.
Blank, and I got swerve. And so he was getting owned, even though he was doing really good in the game. The dice just didn't turn out very well for him. So it made him kind of upset. Okay.
And now for my dad's rating.
My ratings. Well, the art, I'm going to give this a 9 also. Yeah, 9. It's really well done. The cards are great. The components are very good. The miniatures are excellent. The only thing that is a little shady on it is the plastic stands for the miniatures are a little cheap feeling. Not horrible, you just have to be careful with those. And then the cardboard template things that you put down to move your ships are just cardboard. I mean, they're going to wear out if you're not careful with them. And I have seen where people have made plastic copies of them available on eBay. Pretty expensive, but so I don't think I'm the only one that thought, hey, whoa, these are cardboard. But if they were made out of plastic, this would have gone from being a $40 game to probably being a $50 game or $60 game. So I get why they did that. As far as fun goes, I'm going to go a little higher than you. And I'm going to say this is really fun. I grew up playing a lot of flight simulators, and this reminded me a lot of playing a flight simulator. It was like, how do I get around behind him so I can get a pot shot on him, or like, how do I draw him over here? And it reminded me a lot of just dogfighting. And I know that's the feel they were going for, but at the same time, it felt like you were dogfighting with 2 distinct types of ships because of the movement being different. But it also felt like you were in space, and it felt like the X-Wings were fighting the TIE Fighters. And I'm a Star Wars fan, not huge. I don't go to cons and have like robe I wear and like fight. But I did name my kid Luke, not because of Star Wars. But at any rate, I like Star Wars okay, and the theme was kind of fun for me to put that in there. So as far as the fun goes, it was pretty high. My family rating, I'm going to say this is a pretty highly rated family game. Luke made a good point, and that might drop my rating a little, that only 2 people can play at one time. So, that being said, though, it's a very simple game. I think we had the game out of the box and playing it within 10 minutes. It's not hard to figure out. There's some rules that you have to kind of reference, like, okay, what happens in this situation, what happens in this situation. But as far as the basic game, getting it up and playing, it was really quick. And that's something that I really like that, I'm going to comment on this too. Fantasy Flight Games has, I always want to call it Final Fantasy, like the old PlayStation games. But Fantasy Flight Games, they are notorious for having bad rule books. Like, you read on the internet and people complain about them a lot. And I think it's because they set up the rule books to be read through on your first play. So they read more like a narrative instead of a reference guide. And so when you're trying to reference things later, it is difficult. But on these games, the 2 most recent games I've picked up from FFG, you go to their website and they have really good tutorial videos on the basics of the gameplay. So like the day before we even had this game, we watched the videos and it seemed pretty simple, and we played it pretty quick. So, and the videos are fairly short. So that's something that's real positive that they're doing. So as far as my family rating goes, I don't know if I put a number on it, but I'm going to say an 8 as well. It's really fun, and it doesn't have a lot of downtime. I think young kids could learn it. I think probably an 8-year-old could learn it without much worries. So now we're going to give our overall ratings of the game. Now again, Luke's scale is 5 is average, 10 is amazing, wake me up in the middle of the night to play this game, and 0 is take this garbage away from me, I don't ever want to play it again. So what games, before you give your overall rating, what number would a game have to have before you suggested it to someone to buy it?
Probably at least a 6.
So a 6 and above, you would say go buy it?
Maybe a little higher.
Okay, so like you wouldn't suggest someone go buy it at a 6, but if someone said, hey, what do you think about this game, should I get it? You'd say, yeah, you should get it, it's a good game. But like maybe a 7, you would suggest it to someone and say, hey, go get this game.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's this game get on your rating scale?
Probably overall of a 7.5.
7.5. So you suggest it. I'm going to give this game, it's in the top 50 for sure overall, and it's a miniatures game, and I was like, man, I don't know if I like miniatures or not. I don't know if I'm into that whole like measuring stuff on a table. I don't know if I'm into the whole playing pretend almost. I am. This game is really cool. I don't know if I'd play Battletech or some other miniatures game, but this one was a lot of fun for me, and it wasn't hard to measure how your aircraft moved. It wasn't hard at all, really. The whole thing played really smooth and simple, and it was a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun in this game. So, at any rate, we're reviewing this game because this episode of DSG is partially brought to you by the clearance sales at Target, because our Target had this game on clearance for $20. So at $20, I was like, I'm gonna jump on this and see what it's all about, and I'm glad I did. I did like it so much that we have 1 copy. 2 copies. I liked it so much that I got a 2nd copy because I think it's just a lot of fun, and the more miniatures you have, the more fun it is. So I'm going to give this a 9 overall because I just think it's really fun, easy to pick up and put down, and I got it for $20 a copy on our clearance sales. They still had a couple left at my local Target at $20, but they went pretty quick. They went from like 15 down to 1 in a matter of about 1 or 2 days, probably because people like me bought 2 sets. So that is my final take on X-Wing. If you missed out on the Target clearances, I think it's only about $32 shipped from Amazon if you have a Prime account. So, and until we have like a game website sponsoring us, we'll just say buy it on Amazon. So Amazon does have good prices usually, and this one they do. So that's all. I guess I don't have anything else to say really. Do you have anything else to say?
No, not really.
Okay. So that's all for this week, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Good job. See ya! Bye everybody! Tell Hilda that we said hi.